Liberalism is an old idea that has numerous books and papers written about it. Virtually all of these authors think of liberalism as the champion of freedom. In this piece, we will look at liberalism as if freedom was nothing more than a means to an end, the end being deviance. It is common knowledge that liberalism is rejected by those on the right. Much has been written on this also, but it is the author's impression that despite all of this writing and debating, a fundamental aspect of the disagreement has not been touched on. If liberalism is deviant, then it follows that the right is normal and it is the deviance that is opposed, more than the collateral freedom. But is this the full story, and can this interpretation be substantiated? What does it mean to be normal, and why would normalcy be a feature of the political right? There is a peculiar element to liberalism, and that is liberals are gamblers, though many may not agree with the estimation. They do not all gamble the same way at the same things, but they all reject, to some degree, the laws of supply and demand. It is not that liberals do not know that a reduced supply will increase prices. It is that they imagine there are clever ways to work defeat social norms and the laws of economics. Liberals suffer from an excess of egoism. But there is a more disturbing trait all liberals share. They deny social norms, at least for themselves. Liberals have no conception of what is normal in the sense of a model all persons need to follow. If they do conceive of normalcy, they think of it as what is common and popular. There is no right and wrong with liberalism. There are no truths or lies and no way to denounce one culture or support another. With liberalism, it is all about feelings. All reality is contingent, and truth is what makes you feel good. It is one thing to hate slavery and injustice. It is another to hate work, sexual dimorphism, and the idea of social norms. But it is all the same to a liberal. But the relativization of truth does not exhaust the reasons why liberalism has become toxic. Liberalisms embrace freedom, but this is more about a rejection of equality. Liberals, though they venerate nature, do not like the idea of a natural order of things. But if natural order is rejected, what is left? The residue might be called freedom, but it is a freedom without meaning or value. Normally, a person adds value to an asset to get equity to purchase what he or she wants. This limitation on their behavior is rejected as a form of oppression by liberals. However, we all know if a pie is on the counter, someone made it and baked it. By doing the work, the baker has earned the right to the pie. But this limitation is also not acceptable to liberals. Liberals in their freedom want rights to the pie without doing any work. This is why they so readily steal and are sympathetic to the dishonest. Liberals also, in their promotion of freedom, have given us the concept of human rights. Human rights is a kind of fallback position for liberals. When freedom does not get liberals what they want, the liberal can claim they are entitled to it by rights. But the weakness of the human rights argument is that one cannot have what does not exist, and to exist it had to have been created by God or man. But the fact that what you want was created by God or by some other person means you have no right to it. If we postulate that the creation of God put nature at point zero, everything after that was created by us. But if we are all equal, no one has a greater right to what was created by man than the person who created it. The only way around equality is the application of brute force. Those who will not work, neither shall they eat, unless they steal what they want from its rightful owner. As inconvenient as it may be, we must either work or steal. The toxicity of liberalism is their willingness to use force to overpower owners and take from them what is not theirs. They have no natural right to any of this, but they devise all sorts of reasons why their wants neutralize the laws of nature. Liberals rationalize and justify their crimes by claiming all persons have a right to shelter, food, and medical care, and whatever else liberals think they need. But what gives liberals the right to suspend the laws of nature and God? Everything has to be paid for. Someone worked to create it. To deprive others of what they created because of your wants is the height of entitlement. Their argument is that their possession of a human identity means they do not have to pay for what they get. This suggests liberals believe there are two classes of people, and there is a class of people who have fewer rights than liberals do. Yet, This thinking makes sense if we understand the rights of liberals are based on emotional factors, not objective standards. If I call someone a racial slur or misgender them, this is a minor event. But for a migrant, minority, or someone suffering gender dysphoria, this might be a devastating experience. The same goes for someone who suffers a neurotic or even psychotic reaction to employment. Many persons would just consider going to work a normal part of each new week. If you are a bureaucrat struggling with gender identity issues or a minority overwhelmed by their lack of whiteness, the lived experience of a fellow sufferer will seem more significant than the alien discomforts of old people or the unfathomable horrors that veterans faced. Liberals in key positions understand the emotional trauma of other liberals and so cannot help but react more sympathetically to the emotional trauma that liberals encounter faced with reality. Outsiders look at the government putting migrants before veterans, the aged and hard-working Canadians, and they are outraged. But this callousness is not a conspiracy, it is simply that the plight of transgenders and migrants are real to liberals, and the experiences of the old, veterans, and the employed are not experiences lived by liberals. In short, liberals do not comprehend equality because their reactions are based in their emotions. Liberals who are not old cannot identify with what being aged feels like and so discount the needs of seniors. This is why black people are overwhelmed by the sense of race and transgenders are consumed by their sense of identity. Victimization is an addiction. It is an interesting dynamic. Liberals create a dependency situation. They live off of rapine, the forcible removal of wealth from normal, and view all resistance as an act of hate. And that is all one needs to know about liberals. They are addicted to the sense of victimhood and create the conditions under which the condition cannot be alleviated, and normal are made the bad person when in fact normal society is the victim of their rapine and addictive behavior.